Hey guys, and welcome. 2 days ago we got some sad news about the future of 3 older titles of the Battlefield franchise, and that's Battlefield 1943, Bad Company 1 and Bad Company 2. Cause EA announced that these games will be removed from all digital stores and subscription services on April 28, and their respective multiplayers will be shut down later this year on December 8. This means you will no longer be able to purchase these games on the EA app or in the stores of Xbox and PlayStation, but if you already own one of the games, it will not be removed from your account, of course, and you can also still use all the offline and single player features such as the campaigns and also the multiplayer until early December. In addition, you will also be able to use the physical copies of these games if you can get your hands on one. This makes at least the campaigns of the 2 Bad Company titles still accessible for new players. But for Battlefield 1943, that is only available as digital version and doesn't have a single player campaign, it means the end of the journey. And I actually wanted to do this video yesterday already, but I really had to let these news sink in, cause especially the 2 Bad Company titles have a very special place in my heart. Not because they were the first Battlefield games I ever played, that was Battlefield 4, so I missed out on these times where these games were really crowded and I also didn't play them for hundreds or even thousands of hours like I did in Battlefield 1, but instead Bad Company was one of the first Battlefield campaigns I played and I totally loved it. Not only because of this chaotic squad around Marlow, Haggard, Sweetwater and Redford and the way they were interacting with each other, but mostly because it was not as serious as the other Battlefield campaigns. It constantly made me smile and laugh and had this great sense of humor and all these cheesy one-liners.
Lay down your arms or we will take you by force.
Yeah? Says you and what army?
What?
I just always wanted to say that.
And if you haven't played it yet, I can only recommend to do it as long as these titles are a part of Game Pass or EA Play, cause you would really miss out on something great. But in addition, I also loved the multiplayer, at least the one of Bad Company 2 that I played the most, cause this is connected to some good memories from the very early days of this channel. It was back in 2018 and I had just started and had about 200 or 300 subscribers, and I was streaming a lot back then. My main game was Battlefield 1, but after a while I also wanted to vary the streams a bit, so I started playing the older Battlefield titles, and Bad Company 2 was one of them. And I think I always had like 10 or 20 concurrent viewers by that time, and there were always 5 or 6 of them hopping into the games with me. And for Bad Company 2, this was so much fun, especially since most of these guys had played the game for hours and hours already and knew all the maps and the weapons and everything. And this time I was the complete noob, and I was the one who learned from them instead of the other way around. And throughout the years I always came back to this game, no matter if it was on console or on PC, and the last time I played it was just a couple of weeks ago. And I gotta be honest, my heart is bleeding a little bit, cause it really feels like losing something special and something that is connected to so many great memories. Even though some people might say it's only a video game. But I think as a gamer, it's not so much the game itself that creates these beautiful memories. It's not about kill streaks or quad feed, it's about the connections we make with other players. I met so many great people from the Battlefield community in-game, but also during my streams back then, and some of them cared more about me than people I met in real life. People that I've known since my childhood and of which I thought they would be friends, but especially during the hard times I had to face in 2019 and 2020, no one cared more about me and asked me more frequently how I was than the people I had never met in real life. However, I guess I got carried away a bit here. I can totally understand that EA is just looking at server activities and maybe the number of downloads a game has, and that after a while they decide to shut it down because it's too expensive for them to provide the servers. At least from a business point of view, of course. And another motivation here might also be to get people to play Battlefield Portal, where 2 of the Bad Company maps are included, but it's still not the same as having the full experience and the complete game. I mean, especially Bad Company 2 is one of the highest rated Battlefield games of all times, and that's for a good reason. DICE did so much right with this game back then, and even today, 13 years after its release, it still has an active player base. Not a big one, of course, but it's an active one. Even on weekdays in the morning, you are able to find a full server in Europe and North America, at least on PC. I haven't played it on console in a while, I gotta admit that. And I already mentioned why the campaign was so good and also unique in my opinion, but the multiplayer was also pretty good. What I like the most here is its simplicity. In my opinion, it has the perfect amount of weapons and customization options to give every player the chance to find a good setup for their playstyle, but it's still not overwhelming or overcomplicated. It has the old class system with Assault, Engineer, Medic and Recon, with the additional specializations you could take advantage of and that worked like perks. It's also one of the Battlefield games with the best atmosphere in my opinion, especially in the amazing Vietnam DLC, and it's not so clean and static like 2042 was in its early days and still is these days on some maps. But instead Bad Company is dusty and dirty and has a very natural feel to it. And just like Battlefield 1, Bad Company 2 plays like it has a soul and if it was made with a lot of love and passion. The sound design and visual effects are also still incredibly good for a game that age, and Bad Company 1 and 2 were the first titles of the franchise that featured the level of destruction that defined Battlefield for a very long time. However, for me, Bad Company 2 is still one of the best titles of the series and an absolute masterpiece of a game for both the single-player campaign and the multiplayer, and I can really recommend to try it out as long as it is available. Like I said, it's still part of the Xbox Game Pass on console and on PC at the moment, and also part of EA Play, so if you haven't played it yet, be sure to give it a try before it is removed. If you don't want to get into the multiplayer or you can't find servers anymore on your platform, just play the campaign to experience the masterpieces at least once and find out why they are so special. Each of them should have a playtime of about 7 to 8 hours, but if you want to go for achievements or collectibles, you can also spend double the time with them. For the multiplayer, however, I hope that there will be a community trying to get these games back to life on other servers, similar to titles like Battlefield 1942, Vietnam or 2142, and I hope that this will give us a chance to experience these classics for a few more years and keep their legacy. And that's it for today. The video got a little bit longer than I thought it would be, but I hope you enjoyed it anyhow, and also the little insight on the past of this channel and my memories of it. And if you did, be sure to drop a like or a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Until then, thanks for watching, and thanks to my members for the additional support. I'm the Catwoman, and you are awesome.